Welcome back, everybody. It's time to crack this case wide open, as a lot of people in my Discord have been going crazy trying to figure out what is going on here. And so let's talk a little bit about the video that we just watched. If you didn't get a chance to watch my previous video, we showcased all the stuff that's happening for the Wilson rework. And of course, we dived a little bit into watching the video. We didn't really dissect it much because it takes a lot of time to go through and rewatch the video numerous times to actually kind of adjust to what could be kind of being said. If you didn't get a chance to watch the video, I would highly suggest doing it because I'm not going to be watching the whole video multiple times. In the situation of it's probably better for you to actually just watch it yourself to kind of gauge what you think. And feel free to post down in the comments. So here's the thing. In the video, this happens. Let me walk you through it. Basically, in the video, you see Wilson going through the process of seeing Wagstaff appearing in the constant, just like we normally do during the storm and all that other stuff. This is probably some sort of time machine or whatever is that Wagstaff is being built. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't really follow the lore that much, but it kind of became an eye-opener for this specific thing. Wilson talks to Wagstaff. Wagstaff is obviously telling him, hey, I need some tools in order to fix this machine, which, of course, you do in the actual game itself. Wilson gives the tools or goes to get tools from the tool station and finds a blueprint that indicates something that he remembers or remembers doing, which is going into this old cabin or old house or old shack or whatever you might call it. When Wilson gets there, he's actually inside the home and goes, hey, what the heck? I'm finding this random key and all the science stuff, and Wilson loves science, so he's going, perfect, I love it, and blah, 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 blah. Thus bringing you to the point where he discovers the radio, which of course obviously brought him to where he is now, and thus repeating the cycle, or so we think. So let's talk a little bit about that. But before we get too much into it, I want to focus on one thing. Let's look at Wagstaff's gloves. Wagstaff's gloves seem to be kind of in like the orangish yellow color, and in the end of the video, we look at what looks to be a portrait or some sort of capsule that's obviously indicating the time machine that's being built, which obviously resembles the futuristic one that's already in there inside the little picture. As you can see, this looks like an older version of it, and inside the video, what do we see? We see none other than obviously a pair of gloves, the same color and everything, that is tuning the dial to obviously better adapt to a different location. But what is it really tuning to? It's tuning the radio, leaving it then behind, which of course, as we know, it's called, the constant for a reason, as it's consistently repeating itself or whatever. So here's my take on it. And of course, I might be wrong. So let's talk about what is going on. Wilson is talking to Wagstaff, and Wagstaff is going, hey, go get my tools. Wilson goes to get the tools. Oh my God, there's a blueprint, and then there under that is a picture of an old house. I remember being there. What the heck? Wilson goes into the house, sees all sorts of tools, and then goes, what? I now remember literally everything here. You had this, you had parts of like all your goggles and like some like stepwatches and some gears, and of course, potentially the dead body of what looks to be the organic matter of WX, which is a whole other topic, and then finds the radio, which obviously led him to be here. So then he goes back and says, okay, I'm just going to help you anyways, and here's your tool, go ahead and fix it. Well, of course, in Wilson's mind, he's probably like, whatever, I might as well try to see what he can do. But in reality, we don't know why they're tuning the radio. So my guess is at this point is yes, it is Wagstaff tuning the radio, potentially leaving the radio behind, going into it, then trying to either continue or end the constant. I don't know. So that's probably what's going on. Wagstaff is playing with time just like Wanda does, but in a better format, maybe where he can actually stick in that constant for a little while or kind of like dive into different dimensions and tuning the radio to say, okay, it's not just right. There should be something different here. Then Wilson goes through the same process of actually finding the radio again, doing it all over again, then ending up where he is now, and so on until we basically break the constant or the repetition that is at hand. But we do know for a fact, or I'm assuming we know, it's pretty straightforward. The gloves are the same. The house is the same. The contraptions are the same. So I'm guessing it's Wagstaff that's pulling the strings when originally we thought it was Charlie. I do think Charlie still has a play in making things evil in the constant, probably not by nature. Most likely ended up in there and then now is causing hell accidentally or intentionally or half personality wise, we don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't follow the lore too much, so some things that I might be saying might not be 100% accurate. But this is kind of what I'm seeing. It's kind of interesting because in Don't Starve Together, I never really dove too much into the lore to go, oh, I really want to know a lot about this. But this video really clued in because we've already said it before, Wagstaff might not be good or evil. We don't know. Even because just because Wagstaff is tuning the radio does not make him evil. That could be like him going, oh, crap, I messed up again. He shouldn't be doing that. He needs to do this instead. Like, don't help me. You know what I mean? So, for example, if Wilson goes and says, here's the thing to fix your time machine, he's like, no, I don't need that. I don't want you to help me fix it. You're not supposed to help me fix it. Or maybe he is, or I don't know, or whatever. So yeah, like, I mean, at this point, it's a still kind of an open book, but we do know that Wagstaff's probably has more of a, real role to play in this than we thought we did, which we kind of already knew. Do we think we're going to get Wagstaff as a playable character in 2023? There is no indication of that being a thing, so I don't think so. I think Wagstaff is going to sit behind the lines just like Charlie does. But this is the thing. Inside of the Clay update for 2023, we did get a note that was posted by Joe that said, we want to introduce you to more lore between Wagstaff and Charlie. Well, there we go. So now we might actually find out what the heck Wagstaff is all up to and possibly how Charlie is adapting to the constant or maybe just getting pulled into the darkness, which is causing her to obviously release a bunch of, bad energy. And perhaps we already know, well, we kind of do, that Maxwell is not as bad as we think he is. And unfortunately, this has kind of led to us believe Maxwell was bad when in reality, he was also being kind of Charlie's puppet, so to speak. Well, kind of indirectly. But anyways, that's my take. Not really sure how to focus it on if Wagstaff is bad or good. Just wanted to see what you think by watching the video. Go watch the video again if you haven't. It's pretty cool. It's actually nice that Clay kind of tied it together like that, giving us a little bit of insight and kind of opened our eyes on Wagstaff's potential. So it's going to be pretty interesting. In my take, this is the end. I think that it's kind of a time loop where we continuously see Wilson and Wagstaff interacting. Wilson goes, oh my God, resets, here's your thing, goes back in time. Wagstaff resets everything again. Wilson does the same thing over again, blah, 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 blah. And everything repeats the cycle instead of actually finding a way out of it. The only way to break that cycle is obviously by altering time or potentially the dimension that you're in a little bit to say, okay, if I adjust the dial just a smidge, this time Wilson will not care about the science and stop looking for the damn key. Because we all know if Wilson didn't look for the key and instead picked it up and got scared of the dead body and ran out of that place, then he would not have ended up in the constant. Thus probably not starting the whole process and not maybe being a huge mess up from Wagstaff when Wagstaff might not have actually wanted it to happen in the first place. That's my take. Thanks again for watching. Let me know down in the comments what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.